Pugs of the Frozen North fans, it is time for Chapter 9. Last time we were here, do you remember, Sika went off for a wander. She heard some singing. She went towards it and she found a ship called the Lost Hope. It wasn't just a ship. Turned out it was a Yeti noodle bar, and she's been grabbed by the Yetis. See what happens in Chapter 9. No one knew how the Yetis had come to that place. Had they arrived with the good ship Hope when it ran aground and was abandoned there? Or had they come loping across the frozen sea one true winter and decided that the wreck of the Hope would be a good place to live? As for what had given them the idea to open a noodle bar, well, that was easy. There are 50 different types of snow in a true winter, and the type which fell on that island was a very special type, a type which could be made into beautiful noodles. It made very nice spaghetti too, but the Yetis had decided that Yeti spaghetti bar sounded too obvious. At first, Sika was a little bit frightened at being captured by a Yeti, but when she realised it only wanted her to come and eat some noodles, she calmed right down. She quite liked noodles. The Yeti took her by the hand and led her across the snow towards the ship. It was quite a large Yeti, and it looked very Yeti-ish, with long white hair, big feet, and glowing eyes. You know the type of thing. As she followed it up the side of the ship, Sika wondered if she should tell it that Shen was nearby and ask it if she could go and fetch him so he could have some noodles too. And then she decided to wait until she'd tried them herself. They might be horrible, and nobody likes to be woken up in the middle of the night for horrible noodles. The decks of the Hope were glassy with ice, but down inside, in the old ballroom, there was warmth and light. Candles made from Yeti earwax flickered there, and a Yeti dung fire burned merrily in a pudding-shaped stove. A long table had been set up in the middle of the ballroom, and there sat Mitzi von Prim, Helga Hammerfest, Shackleton Jones, and a whole load of Yetis, all tucking into big bowls of snow noodles, while Yetis wearing flowery aprons carried yet more noodles in through the swing doors which led to the kitchens. These doors had round glass windows in them. Sika peeked through as her Yeti dragged her past them. She saw Yetis shoveling snow out of big buckets, while others packed it into fat snowballs and stuffed them into a mincing machine. Then they all took turns to turn the handle of the machine, and the long white noodles came writhing out of it like worms, and as the Yetis worked, they sang, "We're in the moodles for some noodles, so no rusks or apple strudels, which are only fit for poodles. We don't mean to be rudels, we just want our favourite foodles. Noodles, noodles, noodles." There is the Yetis as they sing their noodle song. I'm going to sing it again, and it would be marvellous if you would sing it with me. Are you ready? A 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're in the moodles for some noodles. No rusks or apple strudels, which are only fit for poodles. We don't mean to be rudels, we just want our favourite foodles. Noodles, noodles, noodles. Well done if you managed to sing along. Sika's Yeti pulled out a chair for her and sat her down between Mitzi von Prim and Shackleton Jones. From the far end of the table, Helga Hammerfest called, "Yoo-hoo! Welcome to the Lost Hope! Sika, you must try these noodles." "They're delicious," agreed Mitzi von Prim, "but I mustn't have any more. I'm watching my figure." "Delicious indeed," agreed Shackleton Jones, "but I'd best be on my way. I still mean to beat you good people to the top of the world." But just then a Yeti plonked a big dish of noodles down on the table, and Mitzi and Shackleton took huge helpings for themselves, just like everybody else. Sika took some too. She was surprised how nice they tasted. She'd expected them to be a bit, well, snowy, but they weren't. They were hot and nutty and delicious. That's just a great picture here to enjoy all of the characters eating their noodles. Maybe pause the video and see if you can spot all the characters. Can you see Shackleton Jones? Can you see Mitzi von Prim? Can you see Helga Hammerfest? And where's Sika in all that? Great picture. For a little while, the only sounds in the old ship were of people and Yetis chewing and swallowing and going, Oh, and one other sound, a small, urgent buzzing, like a very polite alarm clock. "Something's wrong," said Snowbot, looking up at Sika from under the table. "These noodles are a bit too Moorish. That twit Shackleton's been here for hours now, eating and eating them. It is as if he has forgotten about reaching the top of the world, and he doesn't even like noodles. Seeker thought about that. It did sound as if something strange was going on, but it was hard to work out because the noodles tasted so lovely, and that kept distracting her. "These are mind-controlling noodles," Snowbot was saying. "The Yetis mean to keep you all here as their slaves." Said Seeker, helping herself to more noodles. And then suddenly all the noodles were gone. "More noodles!" roared the Yetis at the table, and the human guests all joined in. "More noodles! More noodles! More noodles! More noodles!" "Just coming," said one of the Yeti chefs, gathering up their empty bowls and the dirty forks and the spoons and the chopsticks. "But first, you travellers must pay for the noodles you've already eaten." "What?" cried Mitzi. "You never said anything about paying." "You didn't think they'd be free, did you?" growled all the Yetis. "The sign outside says Noodle Bar, not free noodles." Do you take major credit cards?" asked Shackleton Jones. "Cash only," said the Yeti chef, and the other Yetis rose to their feet. They looked down menacingly at their guests, who suddenly felt very small and a little frightened, and yet, at the same time, still hungry for more noodles. "If they can't pay," said one of the Yetis, "there's only one thing for it. They're going to have to do the washing up." He kicked open the double doors into the kitchen. Last time she peeked in, Seeker had been too interested by the snow into noodles machine to notice much else. And now she saw that the far side of the kitchen, where the sink was piled from floor to ceiling with teetering stacks of bowls and plates and jugs and saucepans and cutlery and trays, all smeared and crusted with years of dried-on bits of noodle. Those Yetis loved making noodles, and they loved eating noodles, but they absolutely hated washing up. "Washing up," they chanted, picking up their human captives and carrying them towards the kitchen. "Washing up, washing up," and the humans were too full of noodles, too afraid that the Yetis might not allow them any more noodles, to resist. "So this is why no one ever returned from the lost hope," thought Seeker, as big Yeti hands lifted her out of the chair and carried her towards the kitchen. "They get lured in with noodles, and then they have to stay here, washing up for the rest of their lives." She looked around and saw Snowbot watching her. He wasn't interested in noodles, so the Yetis weren't interested in him. She beckoned him closer, and while her Yeti was queuing to carry her into the kitchen after the others, she whispered quickly, "Shen's camped not far away. Tell him not to come here. Tell him to keep going all the way to the top of the world." Snowbot whirred away. The Yeti lurched into the kitchen with Seeker, and the doors shut behind her. That's it. That's the end of chapter 9. A pretty exciting chapter it was too, and I liked the Yeti song. I will see you soon for chapter 10. Have a lovely day, everybody. Look after each other. See you soon. Bye.